Good morning, everyone. Mr. Rook here, the English version, slightly less loud one. This week's assembly is going to be on why reading matters. Obviously, as an English teacher, something that's extremely close to my heart, my subject. I'm going to start off this week by just reading a little poem that I think is increasingly relevant in the world that we're living today. The more you read, the more you know. The more you know, the smarter you grow. The smarter you grow, the stronger your voice when speaking your mind or making your choice. So, the first thing that I'd like you to do this morning is just to discuss with your tutor the meaning behind these quotes. In a world where inequality is widening, where family and community networks are fragmenting, poor health and well-being is reaching epidemic proportions, we need the power of reading more than ever as a tool for change. If pupils do not develop sufficient reading acumen by the middle of primary school, they are less able to learn other curricula. There's a strong connection between reading skills and the level of academic and professional success enjoyed by an individual in his or her lifetime. Your tutor just wants to pause that for a second and just discuss that.
This is Julian, and if you're someone who suffers from anxiety, stress, or fear, whether it's socially when it comes to putting yourself out there, or when it comes to your I often get asked, why should I read more? Why would I bother reading a book when I can just watch a video summary of it? It's true, you can save some time this way, and there is nothing wrong with that. However, reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body, and you can't train your body by just watching YouTube videos. So let's get straight to the facts. Reading improves your focus and concentration. Reading, much like running or listening to music, can be a form of meditation. With all the distractions nowadays, people have really big problems with concentrating. Don't be one of them. In a single 5-minute span, the average person will divide their time between working on a task, checking email, chatting with a couple of people, and using their smartphone. This type of behavior causes stress levels to rise and lowers our productivity. When you read a book, all your attention is focused on the story. The rest of the world is closed off and you immerse yourself in every fine detail you're absorbing. Try reading for 15 to 20 minutes before work, and you'll be surprised at how much more focused you are once you get to the office. It's also a great relaxation technique. Have you ever felt so tense to the point you dreamt of escaping your life for a while? Surprise! You actually can. You don't need a plane ticket to the other side of the globe. A great book can take you all the way to another dimension. Many people overthink their problems when all they need is a break, so that they could go back to searching for a solution with a clear, relaxed mind. So you're stressed out? Then pick up the goddamn book. Research conducted in 2009 showed that reading is the most effective way to overcome stress, beating out old favorites such as listening to music, enjoying a cup of tea or coffee, or even taking a walk. Measured by evaluating heart rate and muscle tension, it took the study participants just 6 minutes to relax once they started turning pages. So when you lose yourself in a book, you can simply forget all your daily worries. That's assuming you aren't forced to read and aren't reading any heavy texts like legal papers. Scientific studies show that reading actually makes you smarter. Your body needs movement, that means your brain needs movement as well, and reading is the best workout for your mind. It's demanding in a neurological way, plus it requires concentration and intellectual activity. Mental stimulation can slow down the process of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, keeping your brain sharp as you age. Reading is healthy, just like a morning run, so find time for it. Also, everything you read fills your head with new bits of information, and you never know when it might come in handy. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to tackle any challenge you'll ever face. Additionally, if you ever find yourself in dire circumstances, remember that although you might lose everything else, your job, your possessions, your money, even your health, your knowledge can never be taken from you. Thanks for watching.
And there are some sentiments that I sincerely share on that video. So it talked a little bit about the benefits of reading, and we're just going to walk through and just talk about some of these benefits. So obviously the first one has got to be concentration. Reading is a complex mental task, and it does ask you to use a lot of your brain. Okay, but concentration is so important in today's society, isn't it? For exams, life skills, jobs, okay, further education, whichever way you choose to go in life, your job is going to ask you to concentrate. Okay, and alongside concentration comes attention. Your ability to pay attention in class, your ability to pay attention during a conversation, during a job interview, it will make a difference as to whether you succeed or fail. Okay, and improving that ability to focus for longer periods of time. Just have a look at the bottom sentence here. We miss so many things. It's so easy if we are not concentrating, if we're not really, really listening and taking in what we are reading. Okay, now this might be a little bit obvious, but you can see just from this sentence how easy it is to lose concentration, to lose focus. Obviously, I mean, this is huge. Reading improves creativity and imagination. And, we are living in a world at the minute where creativity and imagination has come under attack somewhat. But to me, creativity and imagination is probably more valuable and more important at a time when we're feeling stressed. We're feeling a little bit more anxious. We're not quite sure what's around the corner. So it's really, really important that we read, because reading can take us away. Okay, like the video identified, you can be in a different world within 2 to 3 pages. Okay, it challenges your brain to think in different ways, and it helps you to develop the creative side of the brain by exposing it to unique or unfamiliar ideas, situations that we might not necessarily find ourselves in a day-to-day situation. Our brains processes descriptions by putting them into mental pictures, and that is so relevant for everything that we do. We see the dual coding that's going on in school at the minute. I'll put my hand up and be the first person to say that I absolutely love the dual coding process. I love adding visuals to the written word, because that's how the brain works. It works by pictures. When reading puts these pictures in our heads. So inference, I mean, as an English teacher, this is just absolutely massive for me. It's such a key skill, not just in English, but in so many of the core subjects. Let's have a look. Just from the clues in the sentence below and the picture, I have added the picture just to help out a little bit. Can you infer what the word melancholy means? You've got 1 minute to discuss with the rest of your tutor group. Okay, I hope we found that interesting. It's actually not a word that I've used since we taught Romeo and Juliet, so quite nice to revisit old inferences. Self-confidence in a world where we need to be confident, believing in yourself. Okay, it does go hand in hand with your ability to read, to be confident in reading. Okay, people are impressed by things like vocabulary, by the ability to hold a conversation, by the ability to infer in complex situations, in job interviews. Okay, reading really does promote that positive self-confidence and your ability to persevere with challenging tasks and not give up. Okay, the more you understand, the more you are able to tackle more complex tasks. Okay, so belief in one's reading abilities is shaped early on in a child's life through assessment feedback and children's own interpretations of the reading ability. So in other words, the more confident we feel, quite simply, the more confident we become over time. So reading from an early age, regardless, it is such a positive start. And by early age, I'm not talking about 6 months. An early age is can be a young adult. It's your age. Okay, it's important that you pick up a book now because it's going to benefit you so much moving forward into the future. I just want you to watch this video really, really briefly. I've just been talking about reading and reading ages, and really, when I am talking about reading ages, there's no real starting point. There's no real ending point. But the earlier you start, the better. So this is me and my little girl last night at bedtime, and she loves story time already. You can see the impact me reading with her is having at only 2 years old.
What story are we going to read today?
We're going to read Cloudy Hill.
And the three?
Bears.
And what are the bears called?
Make some more
There's
porridge.
They're making some porridge.
They're making porridge.
And there's Mummy Bear
Little bear and little baby bear.
and little baby bear. And what does Goldilocks do?
Hey, Bunny!
Now you can see there the skills already that she's starting to develop. When she talked about little baby bear, did you notice the change in intonation? She knows that baby bear is slightly different to the other bears. And that's her brain already starting to work out how to infer about characters. And that's at such a young age. Okay? The quicker we pick up a book, the quicker we start learning. So if you're not the kind of person that enjoys that, just challenge yourself and push yourself forward a little bit in this next week or two. Half term's coming up. Pick up something that you might not have, normally enjoyed. Okay, very quickly then, just a minute. Discuss why you think it's important to get children involved in reading as soon as possible. What life skills do they learn? Think about the video that you've just watched. Okay, so your challenge this week, I would love it if you picked up a book that is completely out your comfort zone. Okay, if you love autobiographies, choose a science fiction novel. If you can't get enough of dystopian fiction, read a romance novel. It's so easy to just fall into types. But reading doesn't have a type. It doesn't have a type at all. Male, female, young, old. It's just really, really important that it is something that becomes part of your everyday routine. Let your tutor know. We can share our love of reading on Twitter. The more people we're encouraged to love reading, the smarter we will all become. And talk to us. Talk to your teachers. Okay, you ask any of us. We will talk your ear off about any kind of books that you might like. You've only got to look at this example from the summer from Mr. Addy to know that we are all book nuts. And it's not just English, all your teachers. Okay? So it's just really, really important that we think about how we can incorporate reading into our everyday lives. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes every day, even if it's asking about recommendations. Because reading has got the power to change our lives exponentially. Okay, it's a positive thing. We should definitely not attach any kind of stigma to it. It does not matter if you're a boy, if you're a girl. Okay, we need to get rid of negative stereotypes that are associated with reading in order for it to become a benefit to all of us. Thank you for listening and enjoy.